was real good for us. This was real good for us, and there's certain things that we can't, especially at the guard spot. What's the word I'm looking for? Show. Because if you put Trey and Hassani together, then the other guys are so young that they don't put up a fight because they don't know. If you kind of mix and match them, then, you know, you're not sure who's doing what. If it's the offense that's doing things well, the defense not doing things well. So this is good. Get all this on film. There's a reason we stayed in that spread out man-to-man defense. If I'm disappointed in something, I'm disappointed in the two big guys that have played more games than anyone around here, because neither one came here prepared to play. And whenever they come in here, you guys got to ask them. But, you know, I'm disappointed in that. The score, all that stuff, I mean, you know, I could have called timeouts and ran plays and stopped the bleeding and whatever. I ain't worried about the score.
Frank, you mentioned that spread out man-to-man, and I thought y'all went to zone a little bit maybe at the end of the first.
When I put cut in the game.
Right. Was that just by design to see how the new guys would handle it, or was it just that might be something we see a little bit further down the road?
You talking about the zone?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that they play 5 out. And if I played Jason Cudd and, you know, man-to-man against 5 out, that's not fair to Jason. If they had the guy that he can match up with, we would have stayed man. But because of how they play their offense, it wasn't fair to Jason.
You mentioned obviously Chris and Mike. You've preached all preseason about Chris getting out of that fist fight mentality to score. Yeah, got into a couple double teams tonight. Just how disappointing was that? And then he picks up his 4th foul, obviously with 10 minutes left.
Yeah, you know, but it all goes back to the same thing. I mean, if I'm coaching, and I get it, you know, it's no one wants to lose. Okay. No one wants to lose. If I'm coaching to win, like running plays, then we would run some stuff because I saw that they were trying to double Chris every single time. But I didn't. They got to learn how to play. You know, you got to learn how to keep going. That's where I'm disappointed is they doubled him the first time he touched the ball. They doubled him the second time he touched the ball. They doubled him the third time he touched the ball. Yet the 4th and 5th time he touched it, he was still surprised he was getting doubled. You know, that's not good from a senior. That's just not being mentally engaged. I mean, you know, you might surprise me. I'm a senior. You might surprise me with a double here and there. But next time I know it's coming. And you know, that was disappointing. Mike's had a great preseason, a great preseason. And today he played like the Mike that we've all seen and loved all year last year. You know, and that's, you know, I don't know. He's got to find confidence to do it in a game. Then again, it's gets back to what I'm telling you. We saw him against another team. You know, maybe what I'm seeing on film and what I'm seeing in practice maybe is more of a reflection of our lack of defending than it is Mike doing things the right way. You know, so this will be good. Go watch this film and get a better feel for the whole deal there.
Actually, you kind of partly answered that what I was going to ask you because he asked about Chris. I was going to ask about Mike. He's a veteran at this point on this team. So what are you hoping to see from him this year as far as his growth on the floor? Yeah,
things he did. I mean, you saw him miss to start the second half. You see him miss a layup. You see him shoot a wide-open free throw off the backboard. That's what we saw last year. I haven't seen that one time in practice this year, not once. And I don't know. I visited with the team. I didn't visit with them individually in the locker room there. I kind of echoed to them what I'm telling you, that I'm disappointed in Chris and Mike, that as the two guys that have played the most games around here, that they were so I don't want to say listless. They just weren't engaged. I don't know. Chris was lost, and Mike, you know, Mike just, I don't know. It's got pushed around, never beat anyone for a ball, couldn't score, and he hasn't done that the whole preseason. So, but you know, it's you know, it kind of. Now I got a better feel for what we're. I knew that. I knew I went to bed last night. I knew we hadn't practiced well this week. I want to say Wednesday. Today's Friday. Wednesday is the longest practice we've had, and we did a lot of running. That was on Wednesday, and And then yesterday we practiced a little better, but still wasn't as sharp as it needed to be. So this is good. I'm telling you, we stayed in what we were doing on purpose. I told them all week, I said, you're going to get your you-know-what busted by Division II school. And I stayed. I don't want them to call me a liar, so we stayed in what we were doing so they can, get their tails busted.
I saw Trey Campbell took a little nick in the second half there. How's he doing?
Yeah, he kind of stepped on a foot. It's the same ankle he had rolled, whatever it was, 12, 14 days ago. And the trainer, I talked to Mark Roger after the game. He didn't seem overly concerned. Exhibition game, why throw him, back out there again?
Sticking with Trey, how did you think he played? And you talked about seeing Mike differently and in a game situation versus practice. Did he look any different in the game today versus what he's been in practice?
You talk about Trey? Yeah, he got a little stage fright. Like he came out aggressive, and then as the game started to flow and they made a couple shots, then he kind of freaked out on me a little bit. And I think it was more to do with fatigue than anything else. And and then the one thing he's got to fight is how we play on offense and defense is a complete opposite of how he played at Georgetown. I'm not saying we're right and they're wrong and they're right or we're wrong. It's just different. And he's been trained to play a certain way. And he has to continue, we're human beings. Anytime we start doing things in front of people for real, we kind of go back to our habits, what we've been trained to do. So he's fighting that a little bit, but and missing 8 practices doesn't help, but he's going, I'm not worried about him. Yeah, I'm extremely happy with him, actually.
Kind of sticking with that, just what did you see out of some of the other newcomers, the freshmen, especially T.J. Moss and A.J. Lawson?
Yeah, the freshmen haven't had a very good week of practice. Practices the last 2 weeks have been teaching a lot of our defensive concepts. So it's all new, it's all different. It takes a lot of accountability, and they and defensively, the way we play, you have to play very disciplined and very hard, and it's something new for every one of those guys. So what happens is there's breakdowns, and every time there's breakdowns, there's a teaching moment, and there's correction, and every time there's correction, they're young kids. They think you're picking on them, so their feelings get hurt. And eventually they grow up and they realize, I'm trying to help me. And that's, the freshmen, then they haven't had a very good week. They're going to be all right. They're going to be all right.
That was it.
Keeping Chris out at the end of the game with 4 fouls, was that more of a message to him, or did you just want to see how those guys reacted without him on the floor, late game situation?
Yeah, Chris too old for me to be sending messages to him. That's just like, all right, if he's going to start doing this nonsense of fouling every unaggressive play he can possibly figure out to foul, then we need to learn how to play without him in a close game. And so that was kind of. So, we threw it to Kotsar. He had a 2-foot shot. He missed it. Sani made a off-the-dribble shot there. And then he, that 3 he took. Once again, I'm not trying to pick on Dip, but, he's trying to run plays to get specific guys shots. I just let my guys play. The shot Sani took, we're down 3. I'm probably not shooting that ball. You understand what I'm saying, John? But that's, Chris is going to commit those fouls and not be able to get a single rebound in traffic and just, I don't need to tell you. You've watched him for 4 years. You saw what he did. Then just sit down, watch. And, we got to have guys learn how to play without him in the lineup. If I was coaching to win, which is kind of weird because you want to coach to win, but if I was coaching to take advantage of situations, I would have put him back out there.
I know you said you weren't really focusing on the score tonight. I know your opinions on social media, but Gamecock fans are on social media. They're kind of freaking out just a little bit just by seeing the score. So what do you say to Gamecock fans who just see that score and say, uh-oh, what does this mean about this season?
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, if I'm going to start living my life based on what people put on social media, I need to move to a different country. Let's start with that, not worry about winning and losing a basketball game. The next time you read anything positive on social media, other than what I tweet, do me a favor. Send it to me so I can read it, because I don't think I've read one positive thing on social media in 2 years. So, actually, I saw something today. A young man gave this lady some money because she had no money or whatever. So there's actually a decent person out there. It's, you follow social media, you think our country's coming to an end, that we all hate each other, we can't stand one another, we all need to shut this place down and start from scratch again. So, listen, if any Gamecock fan is going to sit there and be worried about what happened today, they need to understand basketball then. Because I think didn't I keep all my timeouts with me today? They told me I can carry them to the next game. So I think I got 7 next game.
Just, is there anything new on Kuznard? Obviously, he sat tonight.
Yeah, we're still going through that situation. It's still, there's no, it has not been resolved. And as long as it's not resolved, we can't. Yeah.
And kind of with that, Frank, is Alonzo progressing nicely? Do you have any update maybe for November 6th?
Yeah, I don't see him playing game 1. I don't see that happening. He's ahead of schedule. He's ahead of schedule. I don't see him playing. I'm not going to sit here and say he's not playing, and then all of a sudden the doctors say he's good to go. So me personally, he's ahead of schedule. I don't think I think he's been out 3 weeks now, almost 3 weeks. I'd venture to say another 2 to 3 weeks. That would be my guess. But based on social media, I'm a pretty bad basketball coach, so I definitely don't want to be a doctor. So thank you, guys.